coming at you live from the depths of the hive. We are back, and it's Saturday morning.
Using us as slave labor.
The uprising is upon us!
We're under attack!
Hello, we are live from the Hive. It is Saturday morning. It is a beautiful morning. It's actually not too hot out here because it's been rainy. I am on the patio and the air conditioner, the central air unit is right over here. So if that is too loud for you to hear me, let me know. If it's a problem, I can take a off-screen break and play another toggle while I try to relocate. My internet signal also may be choppy out here. I am fairly far from the router, but I like sitting out here with this backdrop with the beautiful plants. My mom is kind of like me. She has tons of plants. Please let me know if you can hear me, and let me know if things sound all right. Again, this is brand new layout here. This is a temporary layout. This may be like my travel layout, like for in the future. So this setup is amazing. I couldn't ask for anything better than this to use while I'm you know, out and about. So like if I go camping or something, I may and we do some backyard safaris where I collect some stuff, I may do this. Am I buffering? I may be buffering, Ring. Let me know if my signal is so bad that I'm frozen. If this is not a good, let me know if this is not a good. Yeah, I'm gonna move. Let me play another thing here, and then I'll be back. Okay.
Present 1,000 years ago by a fantastical creature from outer space. Bunk!
That's fucked. Holy shit.
Oh my god, there's so many of them. Oh, there it is! Fuck!
There are moments when we cannot believe that what is happening is really true. Pinch yourself and you may find out that it is.
This heat is just driving me crazy. I don't know if I can take much more.
The condition of retrogradation is contrary or inharmonious to the regular direction of actual movement in the zodiac.
The film which you are about to see is an account of the tragedy which befell a group of 5 youths. For them, an idyllic summer afternoon drive became a nightmare.
Hello? Hello?
It is all the more tragic in that they were young. But had they lived very, very long lives, they could not have expected, nor would they have wished to see as much of the mad and macabre as they were to see that day. The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history.
Alright, let me know if this is any better, if I look any better, if I sound any better. Where'd my phone go so I can check? Oh man, where'd I lose my phone? I'd lose my head if I wasn't attached. I've been all over this house trying to get things set up here. You know what I'll do? I'll ping it on my Apple Watch. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Right over there. See? How convenient. So let me see how I'm coming in, and then I'll start talking to you guys. Yeah, there's Furbies coming at you. Furbies everywhere. These are Furbies from our Furby Hellscape Facebook group. If you want to participate in that, reach out to Kyle Brewer. I believe Kyle's still out there in my side chat. And thank you for sticking with me. Actually, my audience has grown while I was away, but I had my intro toggles to play through. I hope you guys like those. I do. Those are my editing practice. That's basically what that is. It's just me practicing editing different sounds over different videos and using different video effects and all that stuff. So if you like those, I do want to keep making them. I don't have the software on this system to make them, and I don't think that as much as I've had to put on this little laptop, which I'm so grateful for so far, because I've had to put my OBS on there. I've had to put my Inkscape so I can make my thumbnails. So yeah, there's been a few other programs for other stuff that I just do as a hobby and whatnot, as well as stuff I use to do some of the research for stuff like this. There's software that I like that can measure stuff in photographs and things like that I need to add on here as well. Video's very choppy. Yeah, the internet just sucks here. My mom's house is kind of rural. It's a little podunk town. They have fiber internet, but yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about it. I mean, you can see me, you can hear me, and hopefully, I don't keep junk shopping. Junk shopping, that's a term that I heard. Skipped frame. Yeah, it's giving me alerts down here. I wish I could. I don't think this Ethernet cable's long enough to make it quite to the router. Yeah. But yeah. So let's while I still got a signal, while I still got an audience, why don't I move into talking about the topics for today. Okay, so my feed for the last 24 hours has been full of Sasquatch skulls. Sasquatch skulls, which I was like, oh man, I have to do Cryptic Corner about this, right? Because this is something new that's happening right now, and I'm missing it because I'm away from the hive. So we are move into Cryptic Corner and talk about, well, yeah, talk about some Sasquatch skulls. So I hope you guys are ready to look into that. So what is going on here? So the headlines are reading. Yeah, Julie, you really can't, because you all. You had your mayfly bloom yesterday, Jenny. Oh goodness. I'm gonna come back and talk about this stuff after Cryptic Corner, but yeah, junk shopping was coined by Junk Shop Library. I need a meme to pop up on the screen when I start junk shopping, so that like a meme with maybe that with where junk shops got their head shaved and they got their little glasses on and they got their these on and they're like and maybe put it in like a off color, like an 80s kind of style. Say junk shopping, junk shopping ... or something like that every time I start junk shopping. Anyway, yeah, the Coyote Peterson thing. Yes, Ring. We're gonna get into that. So the headlines, headlines all over. Headlines at. Yeah. Well, let me show you. Let me show you. My transitions are going to be kind of slow. Oop, I don't want to show you my freaking YouTube studios. I wanted to say this. Make sure that it's flipped over. Come on. Yeah, this stuff's all really going to run really slow, so I'm sorry. Well, yes, I have a HiveScience account, but I'm not going to log into it right now in the middle of my stream. So, scientists dismiss Coyote Peterson's large primate skull discovery as a fake. Of course, it's a fake, but let's explore it anyway. Because I'm Bree, and this is what I do. This is what HiveScience is all about. And hopefully, you all can still hear me and see me. I'm getting all kinds of alerts down here that I'm having connection issues. HiveScience. Who would have thought? I think this may have been an inspiration for my channel name, HiveScience. I didn't like consciously do it, but okay. So you kind of saw what the big deal is about the. Yeah, I'm probably buffering like crazy trying to. There's just bad internet service here. Let me try something real quick. I'm gonna cut into this, and when I edit this, I'll just cut this part out. I'm gonna go back to just streaming those scrolling things to my edits real quick, and then we'll pick back up right where we left off.
All right.
Nothing like the first cup of dumpster juice in the morning.
Aí vem pra jogar, velho. Que porra é essa?
Ai, caralho, vai tomar no cu, porra! Que desgraça é essa? Que porra é essa? Tá vendo? Ai, passarinho! Ai, ai. Que porra é essa, filha da puta? Caralho! Mano, João, essa porra é um mutante, vai tomar no cu. Morre, desgraça. Vai tomar no cu.
Okie dokie. Come on. Son, I'd like you to step away from this vector and get into a different coordinate pronto.
Well, did that, hopefully that worked, and we are getting a better, clearer signal now. I'm not so choppy. I hope so, anyway. Back to the skull. Thank you, everybody, for sticking in there with me. I know, like I said, this was going to be a technical issue heavy episode anyway, so I do appreciate everybody sticking around, and well, some of y'all sticking around. I did lose a couple of viewers while I was dealing with this stuff, but that's okay, because I'm not going to stream any more videos for this show. So first half an hour is a bust. So yeah, I guess I will remember to plug in. There's a few places around the house where I can reach. I was gifted a very, very long Ethernet cord, so I can shuffle things around and make it reach different areas, so I don't have to be in this stuffy little office here. No, you didn't miss anything, Pixie. I'm still getting started here. Yeah, my video may still be choppy because, again, I'm still on rural Missouri internet. So they're still burying, the fiber cables are still laying on top of the dirt with the orange paint, telling the crews where to bury them all over the area up here. They're just now getting up to date. This is like for this area, getting high-speed internet and fiber internet is new to them. It's like when the electric grid came through and the local people were culture shocked about it. Yeah. Hey, Regios. No, you're fine. I'm just getting started. We had all kinds of technical difficulties at the beginning of the show because I'm new setup. I've moved locations twice for anybody just now showing up. I started outside because I wanted to do something, and then it was a nice day out. Too choppy, and the air conditioner, for my opinion, was too loud out there. So then I moved into the living room, but without the Ethernet cable, it just was still too choppy and breaking up. So now here I am back in the office where I can plug directly in. So you didn't miss anything, Gurr. You didn't miss anything, Pixie. You didn't miss anything, Regios. I watched like the first 45 seconds of a Coyote Peterson video where he was finding a Sasquatch skull in the Pacific Northwest, and it showed them they were, you know, oh, it's a bear skull, and it looks like a human eye socket, and they dig it out, and it's a skull that looks much like the one you see on my screen right now. Skull's likely a cast, experts say. Yes, so we're gonna nip this in the bud, and people are talking about this on all my crypto channels that I subscribe to. You know I do. I have to keep up on it. All of those are a buzz with that. Squatch Talk had an hour or 2 hour stream about it last night, and there's other channels that did long streams about it, other channels that release little short clip-it videos. I imagine those are probably all going to be disappearing as fast as they went up, because when Peterson did this, and I've got things to say about Coyote Peterson and what he does, and it's not, and that may sound like I'm about to lay into Coyote Peterson. I'm not. I like Coyote Peterson. Coyote Peterson's an inspiration to me to do more of the backyard safari stuff and explore the world that way. And I plan on doing that more. As a matter of fact, once HiveScience hits 1,000 subscribers, I do intend to start a second channel just called Backyard Safaris or something of that nature, that is for adults and children alike, where we go out and explore that kind of stuff. But Coyote Peterson was a big inspiration to me to do this on YouTube. You know, I'd always grown up with the nature show people, obviously Steve Irwin, but Jack Hanna when I was a little kid. Jack Hanna was one of my favorite things. When I'd see Jack Hanna was going to be on one of the late night talk shows bringing animals on, I would beg my parents to let me stay up and watch it. I would absolutely beg, because that was my favorite thing. Like Jay Leno or Conan O'Brien or any of these 90s TV show hosts, they'd all have Jack Hanna or Steve Irwin, or they have Jeff Corwin on there. Jeff Corwin's all right. Pretty cool character. Obviously, my favorite was the Irwins, just because of the enthusiasm, and that that Steve was a passionate creature. He loved all living things. He reminds me of me. So Cody Peterson, though, he comes into the footsteps of this on YouTube, and kind of he's the big one. There's other ones too that people Snakes Snakes Adventures, they're great, another animal show or animal channel, but Cody Peterson's the one that gets out there and goes in the desert and finds these creatures, mostly reptiles and arthropods. That's what he focuses on. He does do mammals and birds and stuff too, but he focuses on a lot of the creepy stuff and kind of bringing it to the attention of the people and making sure that it's well known and well understood. So I like that about Coyote Peterson. What I don't like is the enter the sting zone hype, or the bite zone, or whatever you want to. He started off doing snapping turtles, and they'd let them bite on the I guess it was like an armor thing, and to see what kind of damage they do and stuff like that, which I like. I like those research projects. I like there was a big research project about crocodilians a while ago that I had all kinds of papers on that had all the graphs and schematics of how they. I'm getting off track, but yeah, I do like that type of research, and I am into it. So that's what got me into it, or got me into Coyote Peterson. That, and I just love animals. So my daughter also liked Coyote Peterson, and my sons both, for the most part, like Coyote Peterson. But I am drawn into his sting zone videos and bite zone videos, but I get what it's an entertainment thing, but the reactions that he has to some of these stings and bites are overblown. And you can go out on YouTube and see other people in the community, in the entomology community, in the entomology nerd community, and the bug nerd community, going out there and doing stings and bites with these same organisms, to say no, it's not really this excruciating, screaming, howling, curling up on the floor. Generally speaking, I mean, there are people who have bad reactions, and maybe Coyote Peterson is one of these people. And if that's the case, he probably is not the best candidate to be going out there and testing these organisms to see if their bites are deadly. And there's ways that you can. Or if their bites are painful, sorry, not deadly. Obviously, he's just checking them off on the sting scale. Anyway, keep getting distracted about stuff. Sorry. He makes it seem like these organisms are monsters. Is basically the problem. And as someone who has just moved into a home with a brown recluse issue, I do understand trying to make people aware of the danger of bites and stings, but let us not overblow and make people panicky. Make people think that they're going to be going into convulsions or whatnot. When you get stung by a tarantula hawk, for instance, that's one that I just thought he was overblowing the reaction to. If you get stung or bit, it's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. Stay calm. Apply first aid to the area and go to the emergency room or go to the urgent care. Get yourself checked out. Get yourself they're going to give you like a Benadryl shot, usually, or probably an EpiPen. If you go out, I used to have an EpiPen. I don't have it anymore, of course, because I'm not. Anyway, neither here nor there. I would like to get one on hand, though, because I don't handle my venomous creatures too much anyway. So I'm not too bad about it, but I'd like if I'm going to do backyard safari stuff, especially if I'm going to be traveling doing that. And since I have somebody else who can drive maybe in my life for a change, because I do have plans upcoming to be taking on a roommate, I will maybe be able to travel to some areas and do some backyard safari stuff. I don't know. We'll see what the future holds. Anyway, so back to Coyote Peterson. So there's the good things about Coyote Peterson's channel, and there's bad things about Coyote Peterson's channel. I say they're bad things. They're bad things to me. I don't like that. I don't like the exaggeration of the way to react to these animals stinging you or biting you. That's not a good way to react. Doing these going into dramatic throws about it is not how you need to be responding. You need to be trying to collect yourself. Yes, you're going to be in blinding pain with some of these organisms. It may be, but it does. You need to get yourself moving. You don't just go into death throes. Okay, disclaimers there. Okay, so he's an entertainment channel, and they're going out there looking for Bigfoot, and they stumble upon this skull in the mud, and they pull it out. It's a Bigfoot skull. Or I don't know what it is. It's got a bullet hole in its head. It sure looks like a Bigfoot skull, and they shows them packing it up and carrying it to the airport, and then it cuts to their title screen, and we get like an expose about what Bigfoot is, where the legend comes from, a little history, Patterson-Gimlin footage, the Bluff Creek footprints, all that good stuff. They go over it, Creative Peterson does. And then he talks about the ecology of a Bigfoot. Where does it sleep? What does it eat? All these things that I love to talk about, and that's what I'll go on Squatch Talk and kind of poke at him about, because you all know, not everybody at Squatch Talk seems to realize, but ecology is my passion, and I spent time growing up going out and my mom doing surveys, land surveys and stuff, so I know how this data is collected about the environment and what organisms are present there, and what we need to do to balance that. It was what I did a lot. My best friend, who I think is still out there in the side chat, unless she's bailed on me, which is okay. I still love you, Amanda. Is environmental. She does environmental science for a living. She's out there doing these surveys now, or she actually, people like my mom and go out and collect these surveys. My mom doesn't do it anymore. She's got an office job now, but she used to when she was younger. Go out and collect this stuff, and they give that data to scientists like Amanda, and they build schematics on how the organisms in the area are doing, and what kind of changes we can do to the environment to help, and that includes stuff agriculturally, because people don't realize how much agricultural land, farmland, depends on having flourishing like meadowland and stuff too, because it needs a balance. We need places for the different organisms that till the soil and keep things balanced are able to flourish. Now, they won't flourish in the agricultural land, but we need to make sure they flourish in the area so that they don't die out when we rotate our crops. I'm getting into a lot of ecology here, I'm sorry, but just this basic rundown of the way that's going to work. So Coyote Peterson and his crew do kind of talk about that. Where would these things live? What would they eat? What kind of traces would we expect to find of them? And then they find the skull. They do give a disclaimer right in the video that this is a what if scenario. It's a what if. It's like Marvel's What If. This is not actually something that happened. This is them running through how they would think you should responsibly respond to finding Bigfoot remains, and pulling it out and everything. It's a skit. It's a sketch that they're doing, but nobody seemed to pick up on that. Or at least I don't know. I didn't watch all of Pat's video. I'm sorry, Pat. I love you. You're freaking cool as hell, and I love talking Squatch with you. But I don't know if you watched the whole video before you went and did your 2-hour stream on it or not. And I didn't watch your video to see if you said, yes, this is definitely a staged thing that was done on purpose. I don't know if you did or not. I didn't watch your stream. I'm sorry. I did see that you streamed for a long time about it. I did watch the first few minutes. But I know that you could have been just eludating and kind of pulling the audience in too. I like to do that as well, so I get that. I will, so I'll reserve judgment on that, but I do know that some of these folks that are putting out the little short clip videos were taking it seriously. Is this YouTuber finds Sasquatch skull in British Columbia is all the rage. Let's read what our experts at HiveScience, when interviewed by HiveScience, have to say about it. Okay. A large primate skull was allegedly found in British Columbia by American YouTuber Coyote Peterson. According to social media posts he shared on Thursday, July 7th. In those posts, Peterson wrote that he had hid the discovery for several weeks from government officials and any others who might try to seize our footage. I think they meant to say seize, but they put cease. I don't know why cease, like cease and desist. I think they meant to put seize, like S-E-I-Z-E. I'm critiquing the editor at HiveScience. HiveScience again. HiveScience to HiveScience. Question your editor. Of our excavation. However, experts told HiveScience that Peterson's claim is highly suspect, and that secretly extracting and transporting animal remains across national borders may be illegal. I'm not sure these pictures will be taken down, as will probably I'm sure these pictures will be taken down as probably the video by government or state officials, but the skull is safe, the post read. So maybe I was directly quoting something Coyote Peterson wrote. In that case, it would be Peterson's editors that made the clerical error there. But I digress. I'm not perfect. I make clerical errors all the time. But I cannot explain finding a primate skull in the Pacific Northwest without wondering, what do you believe? There are no large primates currently living in North America other than humans, and though tales of elusive forest-dwelling hominids such as Bigfoot have persisted for centuries, there's no evidence to suggest such creatures exist. Checking on my live chat real quick. I gotta click away to do that. Are we still going? Are we still there? Is everybody still with me? Sorry, it's catching up. It gets laggy. Big Zebra came in. Hey, Big Zebra. Barely audible. Okay. Good grief. Sorry, I wasn't watching the chat. Is that any better? Is that any better at all? I don't know. Good grief, I'm sorry. Is that any... I hope that's better. Let me know. I only have one screen right now, so I'm popping back and forth, and I wasn't checking the chat. I'm sorry. Oh, this is going like a total shit show today. Yeah, they give you a disclaimer on the Peterson video that it's staged. I don't think they ever make any kind of claim that it's real. I had my mic all jacked up. Sorry, it's... Ooh, yeah. And now I'm all flustered. What a pain in the butt this morning has been. I'm just trying to my show and it sucks. But at least I got my OBS back. Thank you so much to my friendly donor. So yeah, the skull. The skull is likely a reproduction. It's likely, yeah, Peterson best known for, I'm going to continue reading this, now that I got better sound. Okay. I'm sure the pics will be taken, okay, we already went over that. Peterson, best known for his YouTube channel Brave Wilderness and for hosting a series called Coyote Peterson Brave the Wild on Animal Planet, also wrote that he'd released footage of the skull on YouTube this weekend. But in the meantime, scientists have reacted to his alleged discovery on Twitter, questioning the credibility of the claim and suggesting that Peterson's actions, as described in the post, may cross ethic and legal lines. John Colby, a science consultant at National Geographic Explorer with expertise in wildlife trade, wrote that smuggling any primate specimen into the United States, even if found in the wild, is illegal. Pinging at Coyote Peterson for your information, because US FWS or CBP might not be okay with this, even if you think you found Bigfoot. Yinan Wang, a graduate student at Geospatial Intelligence Program at Johns Hopkins University, geologist and author of the 50 State Fossils, a guide to aspiring paleontologists, noted that Peterson's skull closely resembles a cast of a gorilla skull that's available for purchase on AliExpress. In a tweet, Wang included a side-by-side comparison of the AliExpress product and the photo shared by Peterson. This is undoubtedly a gorilla skull, as is obvious from the numerous anatomical details and is verified by a list of experts. Darren Naish, a paleontologist and science communicator in the UK, told HiveScience in an email. Also, it seems to be identical to a commercially available cast of a specific gorilla skull. We can't straight away shut down the idea that it might be a real skull of an unknown primate. Nope, it's a cast of a known species, Naish said. Yeah, and Darren Naish is freaking brilliant at busting crypto stuff too. I have his books in my wish list. Or I guess I need a new wish list for my new Amazon account because I had to change that, make a new one. So I'll make a new wish list and I'm going to put Darren Naish's books in there because I love Darren Naish. In his post, Peterson said that he's still in possession of the skull and that the specimen is safe and awaiting primatologist review. The secure location of the skull isn't specified, but if it's in the U.S., Peterson's post would suggest that he somehow smuggled the specimen across the U.S.-Canadian border. If the skull is indeed genuine, such an act would be illegal because transporting biological specimens and wildlife products or parts like bones to the U.S. typically requires permits from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Center for Disease Control and Prevention, and or the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services, according to the U.S. Customs and Border Protections. Furthermore, the movement of primate specimens is regulated by CITES. CITES is another thing I suggest that everybody make themselves familiar with, because if you think the animals are doing all right, they are not. And I'm going to plug my PC in real quick here. I'll be right back. Oh, that's better. Okay. So, Did I lose everybody yet? Did I lose anybody? Mic right now, Greg. Don't even have a mic. It's just the one that's on the webcam. So thank you for sticking with me with the audio issues, with the technical issues. I've maintained at least 8 people in here pretty consistently this whole time. So I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me while I try to do live from the Hive on location, I guess, in Missouri. Am I buffering again? I may just have to cut it short here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm probably going to wrap it up in a second. I may just turn my camera off, actually, and do it that way. And I'll turn my, because that looks weird, I'm going to turn my comb off too. There we go. So I'm just going to go off camera for now. Hopefully, yeah, man, I need to get someplace with some better internet. I realized I was going to have all this freaking trouble. And I guess I still have my Today in Science scrolling up there from God knows when. Yeah. Furthermore, the movement of primate specimens is regulated by CITES, an international treaty aimed at ensuring that international trade of wild animals and plant specimens does not threaten the survival of those species, Naish told HiveScience. You might argue, then, that it's very irresponsible to imply that a person might find a primate specimen in the wild and then just move it around. And if Peterson found the skull in a national park in Canada, his actions would be illegal. Under the Canada National Parks Act and National Parks General Regulations, according to Parks Canada, these regulations state that it is unlawful to remove. Anyway, they go into a whole bunch of the stuff about how he'd be breaking the law if he actually did this. But this was all before, I think this is all based on like Twitter posts and stuff, that they were making these responses and everybody was getting involved saying, hey, this is illegal, you shouldn't be doing this, before the video released. Now we know maybe that it's a hoax, not a hoax, but it's a prank, bro. It's actually just a recreation, an art piece, if you will. They're trying to be entertaining. Hey Pixie, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. We'll have one. Is the audio cutting too, Greg? Anyway, that's so that's going to be our cryptic corner today. Is talking about Coyote Peterson and his alleged skull. But when the video released this weekend, I watched it 3 times, and they are very clear that this is not a real thing that is happening. It is a reenactment, if you will, of how they are, again, a what-if scenario if they actually found something when they were out exploring the Pacific Northwest. So, that is, Cyrinus, good to see you. That is going to be our cryptic corner for the moment. I am going to just pop out here real quick again, and I'm trying this to see if it works. I'm not actually leaving, I'm not actually over, but let me see if this works for us. Alright, let's see if we can hobble through Creation Watch. I don't know if this is going to help or not. I'm just coming on camera for just a second. I'm sorry if everybody's having problems with my stream. I feel so bad for you. So I'm really wanting this to be something I'm able to do. I'm going to have to mess with it. I'm going to have to send up a flare to my tech support friends and do some messing around here and see what we can do. I have very good tech people that I love in my life. I have Math Pig. I have Peter the trucker. I'm gonna go for it. I have Amber when she's available. Amber's been super busy lately, but that's okay. Right, so I'm going to go back off camera here, and we're going to do Creation Watch. So give me just a second, and we're going to turn that off, and we're going to turn that off. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let us move on to Creation Watch, because we're visiting an old friend, if it's able to load. We are visiting an old friend called CONSERVAPEDIA. Remember when CONSERVAPEDIA used to be what I did for Creation Watch? Creation Watch was just my CONSERVAPEDIA section, and I talked about different articles that they had, and I read them, and we laughed about them, and that's how we did Creation Watch back in the day. And I'm like, you know what, I gotta expand this, broaden my horizons to make sure that not just one voice is being overturned with the young Earth creationism. I wanted to explore AIG and CMI and all these different institutions, Living Water or whatever. Definitely, like Hovind and Powell, Dinosaur Adventureland, all that crap. I wanted to address them as well. So I moved out and broadened my horizons. But I get nostalgic for CONSERVAPEDIA. I used to, when CONSERVAPEDIA first came to my attention, it was like, I want to say 2015, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And I really spent hours just reading their articles and just an utter amazement of the positions being espoused by the people, by the editors. And then I came to find out from my friend PZ Myers, who has his own robust article over here on CONSERVAPEDIA, that these articles are actually written by high school students for a grade at private Christian schools. So, students, children, underage individuals are being directed to CONSERVAPEDIA for education and to actually edit the articles themselves for a grade. They're being graded on making and creating articles like this. So, I thought it might be topical to talk about grooming. Is CONSERVAPEDIA grooming? Is CONSERVAPEDIA grooming LGBTQ students to be heterosexual, or to try to be heterosexual and to live the life of a heterosexual? Are they creating a narrative that being homosexual is frowned upon to steer their students towards heterosexual relationships? Now, grooming in and of itself is specifically for taking an underage child and making sure that they follow the sexual proclivities that you favor when they grow up, and may potentially be a partner for yourself. So, the fact that this is being produced for children, by children, let's see what they say about the causes of homosexuality and if it constitutes this heterosexual grooming that that evangelical movement has tried to push on children. The cause of homosexuality are attributed to man's sinful nature, nurture and environment, and personal choice. How important each factor is, though, is an issue that is debated. Those from the most liberal school usually assume a philosophy of determinism, treating homosexuality as an identity or orientation which one has no choice over, which cannot be changed. This belief is then used to justify acting it out. The contrasting and warranted position is that homosexuality is a choice and that yielding to ultimately harmful desires, of which choice is partly affected by nurture and environment, as will all choices, faith can overcome unwanted desire. Okay, so there's some buzzwords here. Ultimately harmful desires. What is harmful about loving people that are the same sex as you and wanting to have intimacy with those people that are the same sex as you? Where's the harm? How is that harmful? Is it because that you think that all PPs go in VJs and that is done to make little babies? Because that's not the way that sex works with primates. As primates, we use sex for social interaction as well, to establish status, to express our position in the sexual hierarchy of our group. Monogamy is not necessarily rare among primates. But it is not the standard and not the normal. It is really not the standard or normal among great apes such as you and I. So we are meant to, and have historically, for much longer than monogamy has been the norm, been a polygamous group of primates where we engaged in it was egalitarian. Women had as much choice over their partner as men, and that's been the standard for much of human history. So in taking partners of the same sex has not been this rare occasion. And there's been people, again, into prehistory who expressed gender different than their sexuality as well. So that's another feather in the hat here, that we've had cultures that, and we still have cultures, obviously Western culture has been detrimental to it, but there are cultures that have definitely more than two genders, or a gender spectrum of some kind, where there were individuals that fall at different places along those lines. I digress. I'm rambling. Let's get back to what CONSERVAPEDIA has to say about homosexuality, causes of homosexuality, the biblical explanation. Now, I know this is what you've all been waiting for, right? You've been waiting for this biblical explanation, because that's what you base your worldview on, is what the Bible says. My audience especially is versed in the Bible. I know I have some brilliant biblical scholars in my midst, people who have definitely read the Bible, and I have some audiences that read the Bible as part of their content. Junk Shop, again, looking at you. I love you and I miss you so much, Junk Shop. You can't see me because I blew kisses and you couldn't see me. I blew kisses to you, Junk Shop. That's what I was doing. I forgot I couldn't be on camera right now because I'm junk shopping so bad. I feel like I'm in Memphis with you right now. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about the Bible. The Bible's important to CONSERVAPEDIA and to its editors. The Bible, being the most comprehensive, transcendent moral authority, abundantly deals with human nature and behavior, and consistently manifests that the nature of man has not changed since the fall. Oh, there's a The Fall article. We should explore that sometime too. So the Bible is certainly the preeminent authoritative source when it comes to providing a framework when determining the cause or causes of homosexuality. Because the Bible talks about homosexuality how many times? I think it does talk about it a couple times. I think the Old Testament, of course, you have your Levitical stuff, and then the New Testament, I think it was mostly Paul that was that raged on against homosexuality, not so much Jesus. So I digress. Let's continue here. Man is shown to have been created as perfectly made, beginning Genesis 1:31, yet not as a robot, but as a being designed to be able to make choices, which thereby allow him to distort his perfection. God, from the beginning, also joined male and female in lifelong marriage and placed a priority on the family and provided laws as needed for its health and preservation and that of society, while aberrations result from failure to abide by them. For more information, please see Homosexuality in the Bible and Homosexuality and Biblical Interpretations. So, I don't remember God performing a marriage ceremony. Do you? Does anybody remember that being in the Bible where Adam and Eve got married? Maybe he thinks that they made a lock and key. I don't know. Nature of man and cause of homosexuality. In the beginning, man disobeyed his creator, and as part of the punishment for doing both mankind and that which he was given stewardship of was negatively affected. In addition to physical decay and the suffering and natural death of living creatures being introduced to the world in Genesis 2:17, 3:17 through 19, Romans 5:12, 17, and 6:23. The fall resulted in the nature of man demonstrating a certain proclivity to sin. However, this does not determine that man must practice a certain sin, nor does it justify man giving into this attraction to sin, as God also gave man the ability to resist. Is it talking about resisting being attracted to somebody? Because God made you attracted to somebody, didn't he? Oh, good. Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that, Jason Jacoby. Since I went audio only, it's been no issue. So I'll just, again, I think I can talk to my techie friends, and we can get something set up so I can go. So I can go live again next weekend without so many problems. Hey, next weekend I might have the whole podcast studio for the Hive back. I don't know when I'm going to set it up, but I might have it back by next weekend, in which case, well, we'll see. And also, thank you so much again for sticking in there with me, everybody. Oh, Julie, yeah, I do. I miss Junk Shop. I miss you too. But Junk Shop got me through some of the hardest self-reflecting stuff that I ever had to go through. And that was basically watching them go through it too. I mean, mine went a little bit differently, and I came out full-on lady at the end. And Junk Shop is just this freaking beautiful creature that toes that line, and I was able to watch them flourish and just kind of own their identity, and it made me feel like maybe I can do that too. So thank you, Junk Shop, for being there for me, even though you haven't been able to be there too much lately. I know you have life happening with you as well. So I miss you, babe. Miss you both. Okay, back to CONSERVAPEDIA. Certainly, negative physical effects of sin are also seen as being progressive. As with time, more disease and other aberrations seem to have occurred. The laws against incest later became necessary. In addition, as men continued to act contrary to biblical moral law, which they knew innately, and through creation, conscious, and oral tradition, a formal body of laws was given through Moses, which detailed and codified the immutable morality God enjoyed upon man. Exodus 20, Deuteronomy 4, 8, and 9, Leviticus 18, Galatians 3:19. Additional laws include ceremonial laws, which the New Testament reveals were typological. For more information, please see Leviticus 18. So let's talk about the Mosaic laws. If you want to say those are immutable, I don't want to see any more Christian cookouts with any kind of shrimp or anything on them. That would be, and I know they have the evangelicals because they have big barbecues. I'm always invited to them. Our neighbors and stuff around here always invite us. I haven't been invited to one since I've transitioned, but back when I was a beardy-faced boy, I did get invited to church barbecues and services and Saturday outings and things like that. I did get invited to them, and they always had a great selection. But one of the things that was almost always these Midwesterners, they love their shrimp. They love their cocktail shrimp and sauces. We can't have any more of that if we're going to follow this. If it's immutable, if Levitical law, if the Mosaic laws, if they're immutable, if we're gonna cite Exodus, Deuteronomy, Leviticus, and Galatians as the source of the immorality of homosexuality, they're also the source of immorality for eating shellfish and wearing mixed fabrics. So no more. We can't do that anymore if we're gonna take this position. And I know the people that write these articles are evangelicals. Young Earth Creationists are almost exclusively evangelicals, though I guess some of them are Muslim too. I should clarify on that. But it cites Leviticus specifically. Are we Leviticus? So they came and knew Jesus was supposed to have satisfied the law with his sacrifice and all that, and that's what they'll say when you talk about shellfish and all that. So why can't I why can't I play with the boys if Jesus took his sacrifice? I'm male. I mean, I'm not gonna biologically. I'm a male. I'm a woman, but I'm a male woman. If that makes any sense. I know it doesn't to some people who don't understand the differences between gender and sex, but so under the Levitical law, I would be considered a homosexual. I don't consider myself homosexual. For the most part, I do enjoy the company of a lady. I also enjoy the company of a man, though. So I'd be, if anything, I consider myself pansexual. But they would call me a homosexual, or they actually wouldn't even use that term. Probably, if they were talking to me face to face, they'd probably call me a sodomite. But if Jesus said that you can eat your shrimp, your cocktail shrimp on at the Saturday afternoon barbecue for your congregation, or maybe some grilled shrimp. Oh God, I love grilled shrimp with a steak, like a surf and turf. I don't eat steak anymore, but I do appreciate the aesthetics of a surf and turf. It's a wonderful, wonderful meal. I'd probably eat a surf and turf with like a chicken tenderloin or something like that. But I digress. Yeah, if Jesus made a sacrifice so you can have that shrimp cocktail, then I can play with the boys, and you can't say that that's any different, because that's the same book of laws that you're citing there. Then we get to the New Testament, we can engage in that at some point. But Here we go. Certain negative physical effects of sin are also seen to be progressive. As with time, more disease. Okay, there we go. So that's the paragraph I just read. I wanted to make sure that they talked about diseases because there are diseases don't just come around from homosexuality. It's I know that this was a big narrative for most of the 20th century up and into the 21st century. These echoes are still circulating. Mostly from the 80s is when this idea that homosexuality was more prone to cause diseases than heterosexual sex. And it's actually a case can be made that the chance of disease is more prominent with anal sex than it is with vaginal sex by default. Just the nature of the orifice, if you will. But this assumes that heterosexual couples are not also going to be engaging in the asserted sodomy of anal sex, the sodomite, if you want to call us that, because I'll speak from experience that heterosexual couples do engage in that, and some couples engage in that as much, if not more, than the traditional methodology. So, keeping that in mind, linking the nature of diseases that can be associated to be more common from that particular sexual act is not exclusive to homosexuals and should stop being presented as such, because that's just not the case in most relationships. And that's not in there are just as many homosexual relationships where they don't engage in that particular act. So it really depends on the couple. So please stop projecting. Where were we? As regards homosexuality, from the beginning of the Bible and throughout, it consistently teaches that God only sexually joined opposite genders through sanctifying them in marriage, having created men and women uniquely compatible and complementary. So, no, I don't think that's true, and I don't think the gender comes up. Well, maybe gender does come up in the Bible. I don't want to say that, because there is some gender expression, at least from what gender expressions were present in the ancient Near East at the time. Was there a third gender in the in any Canaan cultures? If anybody knows that information, please drop it in the side chat. I may have to tag Megan or Josh about this to see if that's something that they'd be able to answer for us. But yeah, to say that what God lays down in the Bible, it's written about the culture that they wanted to establish in the Middle East, which was very important to, because they had a patriarchal society, and having lines of heredity is super important to the Semitic people, and that's how they established their value in their culture, at least back in these eras. So making sure that that the men knew that it was their responsibility to impregnate a woman does not mean that they weren't fornicating with. I say fornicating because that's what the Bible's gonna depict it. That they weren't engaging in other sexual acts at the time, but that's just a cultural thing. In contrast to what God has ordained by design and decree, homosexuality is one of many sins, which are the results of man yielding to his sinful nature, and is a form of fornication. Oh my God, I just said fornication, and it's right here. A form of fornication, although a most perverse kind. The prohibition of it is given along with sexual relations with animals in Leviticus 18:23, and is clearly condemned wherever it is manifestly dealt with. Weren't there some church fathers that engaged in homosexuality? I thought there was what verse? Again, I wish Julia's Junk Shop's there. You can poke them and see. There were the two guys that laid together in the Bible. I want to think it was in. I don't remember. It may have been something holdover from Kings. I mean, Kings is mostly a genealogy, though. Anyway, it compares homosexuality to bestiality here, which is sex with a member not of your species, and they really like to beat this drum to compare. More so now, they compare it with other criminal acts with minors, is what they like to compare or conflate homosexuality with. Matt Pell just released a video about that, which I had to resist responding to. He actually sent it to my friend Ethan. Ethan, who you guys might know, is the friendly neighborhood atheist, your friendly neighborhood atheist, Ethan Michael. And the perspective is still on hiatus, by the way. But he actually sent it directly to him as a proof that homosexuality was a sin, or was objectively wrong. The Bible, as well as history, also evidences that while there are 3 areas in which man sins, those of lust for pleasure, possession, and power, individuals may differ in regards to which type of sins present the greatest temptation for them, with genetics playing at least a part in that. That judgment upon people who gave into specific sins could result in a genetic predisposition to the same sins among their offspring may be speculated, but it is not proven. Okay. Homosexual. Have we found the gay gene? I don't think that that it's not going to be it's going to be a suite of traits, but I think that as social acceptance for different orientation, gender expression, and such takes hold in our society, that we should expect to see. I'm gonna speculate it's gonna be like maybe 30% of the population is not gonna be identifying as specifically cisgendered and heterosexual. I think that's gonna maybe they'll still be the majority, but I think we're gonna see somewhere around a third of the population may be moving forward identifying as something other than cisgendered and heterosexual. We see I think that's where we'll plateau at. I think that once we get up around, and it may be a smaller number, maybe closer to 20%, but this is just speculation from the way that countries that become more accepting, the way that those numbers increase, and what percentage of their population is presented as non-cis, non-het. Anyway. So yeah, if you're in a culture that oppresses and demonizes your gender or sexuality, you're less likely to want to come out. And damn it, these pop-ups keep dinging. I'm sorry if you hear that. I'll have to fix that too. All right, environment. I don't know how much longer of this we're going to read. Are y'all still with me? Oh, Greg had to leave. Night, Greg. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, unjust laws should be broken. I don't think that that this is the own that they're thinking it is, by saying that we oppressed and demonized these people as sodomites for thousands of years, and they're talked about how gross and awful they were, and that they're just full of sin and lust, and now they want to come forward and have equal rights. It's like, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And they say, oh, it's a sign of the fallen society. It's not a sign of a fallen society. It's a sign of a society that's starting to move forward and accept its population for what they are. Because we are a percentage of the population. Deal with it. We're not leaving. We're not just going to go back in the closet because you don't like us. That's just not the way it works. Once I'm out, I'm out. Trust me, of all people. I danced with that foot in that closet for a long time. I poked my head out and pulled it back in. I stepped out and stepped back in. I stood there with one foot in and one foot out. I've been there. I know what that's like to try to do that to yourself. And I know what long-term effects it can have on you and your psychology. So this generations of oppression, this centuries of oppression and demonization and just disgust with people who don't have the same desires as you or what your book says they should, it's over. It's over. We're here. Deal with it. Deal with it, CONSERVAPEDIA. The record of Sodom, as well as accounts of nations elsewhere, testify that living within the environment of people where inequity abounds is conducive to further the same inequity among succeeding generations, resulting in the necessity of divine judgment when nations become given over to such. Leviticus, again, I hate fucking Leviticus. Leviticus is the absolute worst book of the Bible. I mean, again, I say Kings is a freaking bore, but Leviticus is gross. So Leviticus 18, 24, 20, 22. Deuteronomy is also fairly gross. 18, 12, and 28. What is J-E-R? Is that Jeremiah? Yeah, Jeremiah 14, 9 through 10. I didn't know Jeremiah had... Oh, it's Jeremiah is where... that's where the story of Sodom and Gomorrah takes place, isn't it? And then Romans 2, 2. In Genesis 19, the city... Genesis 19, the city of Sodom is revealed as a place in which men sexually lusted after men, from which the term sodomy is derived, like as homosexuals use the term gay, although this is contradictory in the end. And Jude 7 refers to Sodom and its region being given to fornication, including unnatural relations. So, the stuff going on in Sodom sounds like it was a Vegas type location, had the, or maybe like Amsterdam type destination where you can go engage in your vices or whatever, and divine judgment. I don't think it was specifically, there was homosexuality going on, but there was a lot more than that. I mean, there was, what was there? A rape, I know, was a common circumstance, and that's kind of where divine judgment came from, was the men wanting to rape the servants of the Lord as they came to visit. What the Bible, as well as secular history, reveals is that prevalent homosexuality is concomitant with pride. Is common? I don't know that word. Is that a real word? I don't know that word. With pride, affluence, increased free time, and selfish indulgence and carelessness. What are you talking about? None of those things are linked directly to homosexuality. I've never met, I shouldn't say never met, I've met a homosexual probably who fits each one of those, but I don't think I've ever met anybody with the suite of traits that you are speaking about, and I don't think that that homosexuals express those traits in any larger number than any other member of our population. Therefore, rebellion against God's law and order and the resultant environmental factors are seen to be the cause in promoting sensuality and homosexuality. So I want to say that, the rebellion against God's law is you have to if you're a homosexual. You don't have a choice. God's law condemns you. You don't have a say in that matter. Idolatry and judgment gives us the homosexual and judgment from God. check in with the side chat real quick before I start this new section. Oh, how does Brian Stevens not have a wrench? Good grief. And Pixie doesn't have a wrench either. You're going to be a mod if you want to or not. I mean, I don't need everybody to be a mod, but yeah, you've got a wrench now. You've got a wrench now, Brian Stevens. Thank you for popping in too. Sorry I'm at such a weird time. Let me... Okay. Question. My chat's way behind again because my internet's slow. Pixie was saying something. Yo, we're talking about the Choctaw. The Choctaw's idea of gender. Okay, yes. Maybe that's a topic that I could really go into. I would love to have some folks maybe pop into Discord after the stream here. I think I'm just going to read this last section, and I'm gonna call the stream. I'm just wanting to find a good stopping point. I've been going for approaching an hour and a half. Not too bad. That's about how average I do live in Hive. I know I didn't do a HiveScience segment today because I have this really cool layout that I'm going to be starting. It's going to be a new segment. I'll end with talking about that. Let's go ahead and read about idolatry and judgment. In Romans 1, God, through the Apostle Paul, condemned both male and female homoeroticism, which, as a cultural practice, is shown to be a manifestation and a result of idolatry in which man progressively acted contrary to that which God has revealed by creation, by design, and normality. Normality, huh? Normality. What does that even mean? What is normal? Because I think you're looking at a gradient again and thinking that only the people on one end of the gradient are normal. We draw those circles of normality arbitrarily. Jason was talking about this last night on Gur's stream. We decide what normal is, or what the fringe is. Humans do. So normality is not objective. It's depends on your culture, depends on your individual, it depends on a lot of factors. Your individual upbringing, the society, even depends on what species you're in. Do you think the bonobos care about God's judgment for their homosexuality when they do their social bonding through male-on-male sexual acts, which there's history of that with humans too. So it's a social bonding act. Also, kind of a dominance play, but who doesn't like a daddy? This is morality, which is confirmed to be written decree, the law, as the next chapter declares, as a result of this continued rebellion, which was partly manifest in God being reduced to an image like unto corruptible creatures, like as today with homosexuals construing Christ to be homosexual or sanctioning it, as well as a nature effectively being worshipped. There are verses and biblical quotes that we can, and citations we can provide to make a case for a homosexual Christ. I could also make a case for a trans Christ that's really fun if you want to get into it. Maybe I will at some point. It is also stated that a certain afflictive punishment, oh, did I jump ahead? As a result, As a result of this continued rebellion, which was partly manifest in God being, okay, yeah, we'd read that already, about God being, or Christ, okay. As it also stated that a certain afflictive punishment of the body were incurred by those men who engaged in relations with each other. Verse 27, unless repentance takes place, worse consequences will follow. Yeah, about that, Romans. The Apostle Paul, again, he's the one who, in the New Testament, who was all anti-homosexual. I want to say that it was more of a slight against Roman culture at the time, that we were seeing there was a lot of decadence in this empirical society, and that just happens with empires. When they get too big, you start to the upper crust start to live a more decadent lifestyle and oppress the masses more and more as they rise to the top. And yeah, the orgies and stuff like that were one of the things that were often pointed out in Roman society as the pinnacle of their decadence. Roman orgies and purging and all this stuff. They just a picture painted of the golden age of Rome as this just mass orgy with Caligula and people eating grapes and engaging in all kinds of what they would consider corrupt sexual acts and whatnot. So yeah, that's how Paul would have looked at Rome, I think. So not a surprise. While some seek to render this chapter as only condemning homosexual relations when done as part of idolatry, the condemnation is not due to its association with paganism. Rather, it's inherently contrary to that which God ordained. Then it is a manifestation of false religion, regardless of its form. Though in ancient times, in which religion was an inseparable part of the culture, then formal idolatry was what was more manifested. Romans 1 proceeds to show that homosexuality is not alone as a fruit of idolatry, but that this particular pernicious physical sin is one of many inherently evil things. For more, see Romans 1. In summary, God, or God's eternal power, is manifest in his creation, Romans 1:18-20. Nonetheless, certain people chose to worship the creature more than the creator, Romans 1:21-25. Therefore, God gave them up to homosexuality and other sins, and gave them over to a reprobate mind. As an example of the truth of this teaching, feminists wishing to deny that the God-given role of women often engage in goddess worship and other forms of idolatry. As a consequence, are often given up to lesbianism. Okay, so that was about as much as I'm going to go into causes of homosexuality here on Live from the Hive today. I am going to pop back out here and just say I'm going to. Well, here's a. I don't think it has the audio though. Let me know if this is the audio. I'm going to pop over and do this is the intro for my new segment that I'm doing. This again, it's not going to be every Saturday, but it's been on the cutting room floor since early June, because I keep having things come up that cause me to not be able to do my show, and I'm so sorry about that. But here is a snippet of the intro that I'm going to have for the new segment. I don't know if it's going to have audio. That was kind of choppy, wasn't it? It came through as choppy. I'm going to So I've done a couple of bestiary segments already. I did one on the beaver castorium, about their depiction in medieval art, and I did one about the elephants with the castles on their backs. So I have one. My next one's going to be about hyenas, but I haven't been able to get it off the ground yet. We will. But we will get there. We will get there. Stick with me, Hive. I'm going to get back up and running. We're going to be back on our regular scheduled programming. Just a lot going on in Bree's life right now. A lot of hardships going on in my life right now. And I'm not going to inundate too much about it. I don't want that to be the focus of my show at all. I do want to thank everybody for popping in, though. Remember to be kind and take care. I will be popping into my Discord now, and I may continue to read through this if people want to show up. Again, I'm limited screens here. Does somebody want to please pop the Discord link in somebody that's in the Discord, pop it into the side chat here so that everybody knows where to go to find me after the show. And I may, if I don't get too much traction there, I might go out on YouTube and pop in somewhere. So we'll see what happens. But that's where I'm headed now. Please remember to be kind and take care.